Hello, welcome to another episode of Mind Your Business. Tonight, my guest is Teneisha Campbell. She's a mother of two and an accountant and entrepreneur, as well as a best-selling co-author of Broken Trust, Empowering Stories of Healing for Relationships, Finances, and Wellness. She shares her time between running her online business, working full-time, spending quality time with her children, as well as serving in her local church. She is passionate about empowering women, especially single mothers, to live above the status quo. She loves traveling and all things real estate. She's in the process of compiling three anthologies about fear, bitterness, and women of faith. Thank you for joining us tonight. Hopefully, we will have a good connection and be able to hear all the good things that Teneisha has to share with us tonight. So, thank you for joining us. And without any further ado, we will welcome Teneisha to the stream.
Hi,
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you doing?
Good to have you.
Thank
I'm
you for
good, thank
having
you.
me.
Good to have you. If you would go ahead and you're welcome. Thank you. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what you do, and why you do it.
Okay, I'm a mama of two, as you mentioned. I'm an accountant because that has always been my passion. While I was on maternity leave, I actually started an online business because I believe that God has called us to live beyond the normal, beyond the ordinary, and beyond just the status quo. So I'm also an online entrepreneur, and I love to travel. I love to help people. As you mentioned in my bio, I believe that because I was once a single mom, I believe that single moms, they get a bad rap. And sometimes people judge us without understanding the reason or why we end up in our situation. And I just want women to look beyond the judgment of others and live the life that God has called them to live. So that's why I do what I do. I believe I went through what I went through to help others as well.
Okay, so would you like sharing a little bit of your journey to help us to understand how you got to where you are now?
Okay, sure. I'm a migrant. Well, I migrated to Canada at the age of 13 from Jamaica, right? And coming to a new country at that young age, I faced a lot of challenges because my dreams and my hopes were not what the reality was, right? And I believe I was tossed into a tough life, so to speak. I had no mom here, no dad, no sibling. It was just me and few relatives. And I was tossed into the hard knock life. And I had to make it out by God's grace. So I've went through areas in my life of brokenness, feeling not wanted. I went through defeat, self-doubt, poor self-image. And it was when I decided to surrender all to Christ, that's when I started to understand more about who I am and who he has called me to be. So in that, immersing myself in the identity that Christ has called me to be, I have decided, I realized that, listen, I have more strength than I thought I had before. So I went to finish high school, even though I was on my own at the age of 16. I finished high school, went to college, got my diploma. I was pregnant while in my last year of college, but that didn't stop me. I finished college, went in the corporate world, and just keep pushing. And here I am years later, stronger again than before.
Yeah. So how did you determine to start an online business? What led to that?
Okay, so I was on maternity leave. I have two sons. One is actually, it turns 1 month, oh, 1 year this month, actually. I was, income was tight, quite frankly, right? When in Canada, when you're on maternity leave, you get about, I think, 55% of your salary. So that's a big drop in in your salary. And I was forced to use up all of my savings because even though I'm on maternity leave, the bills do not stop. and they do not get reduced, right? So it was in
Mhm.
that financial restraint. And plus, I was off work for a year. And for years, I've had my own desires and goals, to have my own business and, to be a leader in the community. But when you're working sometimes 10, 11 hours a day, when do you have time to fuel your dream? When do you have time to actually put time in your own desires and dreams? So while I was on maternity leave, I had all the time in the world to recall my dreams and work towards them. And that's what I did while I was on maternity leave. Yes.
Okay. What is your online business?
So what we do, I actually help people set up online businesses because a lot of people they want to make money online, but they don't know what's the first step, right? They have to think about, first of all, what products or service do I offer? And if I find a product or service, what is the market share? Is it profitable or not? So that's what my business does. We actually help people set up online businesses. All the research was done for them already. We partnered with the product or a company that offers the highest commission and all these things. So most of the heavy lifting has been done for people when they decide to come on board as a business owner. Sorry.
Okay. Oh no, you're fine. And how do you find your clients?
Okay, through online social media advertising and just engaging with people. A lot of people, since the pandemic started, they wanted something. People were forced to retire early, people were forced or laid off, right? So everyone was looking for that thing online. And there's a lot of sketchy stuff out there. So, how do you
Mhm.
know which one is the real one? I partnered with this company because one, they have been in business for over 45 years and it's integrity based as well. And I'm not sure if I mentioned, but I'm a Christian and integrity means the world to me. And I can't be a part of something that it doesn't have integrity in its bloodline. So when I found this business, I was so glad. So I'm excited to share it with the world, right? And to help others basically start to get their thing up and running.
Okay. What's the name of this business?
Okay, so the name of my business is Teneisha Campbell Marketing. So we're part of a community that has over 60,000 digital business owner. So each business owner name their company whatever they choose. So the name of my company is Destined for Greatness Digital Marketing.
Destined for Greatness
Digital
Digital
marketing.
Marketing.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And how do you go about getting an appointment with you?
Sorry?
How can people get an appointment with you or meet
Okay.
with you to see if they can be a client?
Okay, no problem. I'm actually on Facebook. My Instagram account was hacked today. Oh, it's so devastating. But
Mhm.
I'm actually on Facebook at Teneisha Campbell Marketing. And that's my business page. Or you can find me on my personal page, Teneisha Campbell. Or you can also visit my website, teneishacampbell.com.
Okay, great. And we can put a link on our website to get a connection to you for anyone that is interested in reaching out that has a business that they'd like to get started or do you help with business ideals as well? If someone wants to start a business but they don't really know in what direction they should go, do you help in that aspect as well?
Yes, yes, we do as well. Yes.
Okay. Now, you just do the marketing part of it, or do you help with the funding as well? Because I know in your book, Broken Trust, Empowering Stories of Healing Relationships and Finances and Wellness, I didn't know if those were all things that you actually catered to.
Oh my goodness. The connection was so poor. I only heard the part you mentioned about the
Oh,
book.
oh, okay. No, I said, do you offer insight and on everything that you touch on in the book as far as finances, do you help with funding as well with your clients that come to you, or is that something that is part of the offering?
That's part of the offering, but I personally do not assist with the financing aspect. So in each business or a part of the business that I'm a part of is that I will introduce people to the marketing. I sit with them and figure out, okay, you want to start an online business. Do you know what products you're going to sell? And if they do not know, then help them to pull out ideas and then narrow it down to something that I believe that will work for them. Then I'll invite them to our webinars, right, for them to see and then make conscious decision by doing their due diligence to see if this is a system that they want to be a part of. So in the book Broken Trust, it's the publisher is LWL Publishing House and the compiler, her name is Rose. So in the book you have about 31 co-authors, and the part I focus on more was actually in the finances. Why? Because it talks about how you have experienced broken trust in finances, right? And I had to share my story about the part when I first bought my house as a young single mother. And, you had salesmen walking around the community, and they came and they sold me some furnace and the AC. And I thought it was a good idea. I don't know, right? And the cost, Tanika, was about 5 times higher than if I would have walked into the store and got it myself. And it was so hard for me to pay my utilities because look, the financing was 5 times higher. So in that area is like I feel like my trust was taken advantage of. And in the end, I ended up selling that house because I wasn't able to meet the demands of my monthly expenditures because I foolishly, let's just say foolishly, followed a salesperson, right? Thinking that they know what they're talking about, not
Mhm.
knowing I was just another sale for them, right? And it's by God's grace I learned from that experience, so much so no one can come and sell me a furnace.
Yeah. Yeah, I know oftentimes when we make buying decisions, we don't do enough research and we might not have enough education on what it is we're going into. And a lot of time as women, we will get taken advantage of by salespeople that feel like they can hijack us on the price and get over on us in that aspect. And so it's good to have those that are out there that can educate you on what to look for and how to get the best for your money, because I mean it is hard sometimes, and when you are first starting out or if you're a young single mother or whatever the case may be, sometimes you things just don't add up at the end of the month, and it's a matter of where do I put my eggs, what basket do I put them in, and it's like
Yes.
you've got to do what's best. Do I eat, or do I have enough to have gas to get to work? And so sometimes that's tough, and especially in times that we're in now when people have been let go or laid off and or downsized. I mean, it's really hard. So how do you speak to those people that are in that situation, that are having a rough patch and are getting started, but they don't see any hope for the future? How do you get them to the point of it looks dark now, but then there's light at the end of the road?
I believe that everyone has in them that desire to want to do better. It was Carol Kent. I came across this quote, and she said, "It's not egotistical to want to be the best that God has called you to be." She further went on to say that God created us with a desire to soar, right? So people may be stuck in a rut right now, like I was, to be honest with you. And the only thing that kept me going was the burning desire within me that I deserve more. And plus, I have my 2 boys to take care of. So at times it may feel overwhelming. And that's the reality. And there are times when your 1 plus 1 is not equaling 2, it's equaling 5, right? And how do you find hope in that? I just have to draw from scripture, right? That tells me, say, the plan that God has for me, they're perfect to give me a future with an expecting end. And there are times that the future doesn't seem so bright. And to be honest, I don't want to believe in the scripture. But Tanika, what hope do I have? And the hope of
Mhm.
God doesn't disappoint. So I'll say to anyone that is in a rut right now and you feel like you cannot put that one step in front of the other, I'm just saying find courage and start to dream again. It may sound mediocre, but I do believe that dreams are real and that they do
Yes.
come true. According to one of my friends, she's an author as well. Dreams are real and they do come through. She further went
Hmm.
to say it may take a little time, but do not give up on yourself or your dreams. Quoting Natalie Johnson. So keep believing, keep hoping, because as long as you're not sitting down and hoping for change, but you're actually doing the work,
Hmm.
things will get better for you. So that's my encouragement to others.
Absolutely. What do you say to those who say, "Well, I just don't have the finances to get started right now," and when that happens, how do you help someone get in a position to be able to invest in themselves?
Oh, wow. The mindset has to change, Tanika. That's the first
Yeah.
thing. Your mindset has to change. I believe a new mindset, basically, with a renewed mind, there's nothing that you cannot do. New day, new mindset equals a new opportunity. So it's either are you going to see the glass half empty or is it half full? It all depends on how you see things. So you may say right now, or someone may say, well, I don't have the money to get started. My first thing would be like, okay, what are you spending your money on right now? Can you
Hmm.
find some areas that you can cut back on? You know, you love to eat out on Fridays. How about you eat out once a month as opposed to every day or every weekend, right? How about that coffee? Can you not buy the can of coffee and make it from home as opposed to stopping at the store or the restaurant every day? So people have to be willing to do a hard assessment of where they're spending their money and determine that, listen, I can't keep going that way. Tanika,
Hmm.
I was in that position 6 years ago when I bought my first house. I was living in an apartment. It's called rent geared to income, where, it's based on my income. I'm a single mom, you get subsidy. And as I got a full time job working in the corporate world, my rent was going to increase over $1,300. Well, that did not sit well with me because my
Hmm.
thinking was that I am on the first floor of this apartment building. There is no view, there's no amenities. So, what am I paying $1,300 for? So, it was at that moment I determined in my head that I'm going to get myself a house. So, when my tax return came, I saved that tax return and I was short. And I said to my friend, I need your help. And he was willing to lend me the other $5,000 because he saw my potential. He knew that if I didn't need it, I wouldn't ask. And he loaned it to me, and I got my first house. And based on that first house, I was able to get a second house. So it doesn't matter what your situation is now. Are you willing to sacrifice some things?
Hmm.
And are you willing to come out of your comfort zone to live the life you believe you deserve?
Yeah, you made some major statements there. Coming out of your comfort zone is that is so crucial because a lot of times we get complacent and settle in where we are, and we feel like because of our past or what we've been told or how we've been raised that this is it, and so this is what we're used to and this is what's familiar. And in order to make some changes, you have to move a little differently and you have to think a little differently. And so, talking about mindset, that is so important. And when I coach, when people come to me, that's the first thing that we talk about, no matter what it is that they want to look at or focus on or whatever their goal is. We always have to start with the mindset, because if your mind is not in the right place,
Yes.
nothing else is going to
Yes.
fall in order. And so it all starts with the mind and being able to have a clear view and understanding of what it is you're trying to set out to do. And so that's the first step. And a lot of times when people come to me, they'll say, well, I wasn't really looking to be coached and I didn't want this and I didn't want that. I just want to start a business. Okay, well, then why haven't you started one? It's that simple. If you just want to start a business, then start one. But there's something that's holding you back from doing so.
Yes.
And that's the way you're thinking about it. If you want to do something, why haven't you done it? And you've
Yes.
got to be able to get out of your own way and see that it's not going to just happen. You've got to take a step and you've got to be willing to do something. And that, if that means anything, a car's not going to go unless you turn the ignition.
That's
You got to
it.
open the door, you got to get in, you got to put the key in the ignition, then you got to turn it,
Yes.
before it's going to go anywhere. And so you've got to have that fuel and that energy inside of you to want to go somewhere. And so I appreciate
Yes.
you taking the time to talk about that and to talk about what you had to go through and the things that you had to endure. Because a lot of times when people read your bio and they say, oh, she's an accountant and an entrepreneur, a best-selling co-author, and she knows how to heal and she knows about relationships and finances and wellness, but they don't understand how you became to be an expert in that, because they don't know what you went through to accomplish that.
Yes.
And so I
Yes.
believe my husband did a sermon one Sunday and he was talking about, if you don't work, you don't eat. And so a lot of times we feel like work means going out in the field and doing something that's heavy or whatever. No, your work is whatever is inside of you, that desire, that driven purpose of life that's inside of you, to go out and do what you were created to do. And that's when you're happy. And that's when things manifest and unfold, because you're walking in what it is that you're supposed to do. And we feel good about that. And we feel like,
Yes.
oh, wow, this is natural. This is what I'm supposed to do. But oftentimes we get caught up in, again, what we've seen, what we've been told, what we think. And it's all about being able to see people like yourself who was able to come from one country to another to struggle and sacrifice and be a single mother and go through every single thing that people will say it's hard to struggle and get through. But you've named a lot of things that people have suffered with or struggled with and have overcome or not overcome. But you're living proof that it's possible. And we know that through Christ, all things are possible. And
All
so as long as you
things.
keep the faith and you know who's guiding you, I mean, I believe you
Yes.
can't fail. So what you left us with some good words of advice, and you left us with just not giving up and making sure that you believe in yourself. But right now, where do you see yourself going as far as continuing to work a full-time job and having an online business? Do you see this happening for how much longer, where you'll just do your own business, or will you continue to work for a company?
I love to work for the company that I work for. Great people, right? I must tell you, I cannot complain, but I don't see myself working there all the days of my life, right? While my business is still young, it's going to need time to, I need to nurse it and it's going to need time to grow. So eventually, that is my retirement plan, to ensure that my business is self sufficient before I leave my current full time job. But right now, I'm just juggling both. And you touched on something very important, is that people see where I'm at now and they don't know the story. They don't see the scars and the bruises that I had to go through, right? But I believe that when you go through things, God is already preparing you to minister to others. So
Hmm.
there's purpose in my brokenness. There's purpose in my scars. But the thing is that we shouldn't let our scars hinder us from telling a story, right? There's beauty in our scars. I even spoke about in the book Broken Trust that your scars are beautiful. You earned those battle wounds. So might as well you show them off, right?
Yes.
Because it shows that listen, you went through the trenches and you made it out on the other side to be proud.
Yes. Yes.
Oops.
So I thank you. What is it that people, women, Christian women, women of all cultures, what would they get out of reading your book?
They will find hope in brokenness. They will learn to acknowledge that yes, they were hurt, but how are they going to look beyond the hurt and find purpose in the hurt? There are stories of many different people in the book, but I touch on the point that listen, the potter's hand, right? And God, the master potter, he wants to mold you into whom he has created you to be. So you have to just be willing to get on his wheel. So whether you're limping, whether you're mute, whether you're broken, it doesn't matter. Just get on his wheel and surrender, and he's able to restore you. So the book is all about how to heal and yes, because living after you have gone through is important. You have to get up and fight another day. You have to get up and minister to someone else after you have gone through whatever you have gone through. So people find hope in this hopeless time by reading the Broken Trust anthology.
Yes. Thank you so much. I believe that our testimonies are what, give us the confidence and the attitude to be able to move forward. And when we're able to share, it says confession is good for the soul. So when we're able to share what we've been through with others, it shows that your brokenness is being healed and you can accomplish anything. So I appreciate you so much for coming on. Let everyone know where they can find the book at.
Okay. So, okay, you can find it on Amazon, or if you desire to have a signed copy, you can just email me at info@teneishacampbell.com, or you can send me a message on my Facebook at Teneisha Campbell Marketing.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like anyone to know before we end this segment?
I just want to encourage someone to just live. It doesn't matter what
Amen.
you have gone through. You must can find something to have hope in. You must can dream again. You must can believe again. So I'm here to tell someone live. Don't throw in the towel yet. You have greatness on the inside of you. The other side of your healing waiting for you to minister to them. So just live
Amen.
life after brokenness.
Amen. You heard it, people. There is life after brokenness, and you can come out on the other side of your hurt and be healed. So at this point, just do what God created you to do and live. Fulfill your purpose by being who He created you to be, because we all have a purpose and we are all here and we have a desire in our heart to do things. And if you don't know what it is that you truly want to do, or you need help finding that out, Teneisha is in the business to help you do so. So contact her at info@teneisha.com, or go to her Facebook page and get her book, Broken Trust, Empowering Stories. There's a lot of information out there, and there's a lot of people out there that are looking to help and to minister to you, that's been where you're at and that understands what you're going through. And so don't give up. Don't give in. Just know that if you continue to just stay fast in what it is that God has called you to do, that you will be okay, because it's not over. It is not over. Just continue to live and be blessed in the Lord. Thank you all for joining us tonight. If you were able to watch this live, we thank you for joining in. And if you're watching the replay, just leave a comment and let us know what you thought about tonight's segment. And also check Teneisha out and continue to support minorities in business, especially women. And congratulations to Kamala Harris for being the first
Yes.
woman vice president in the White House. And that just shows you that we are getting closer and closer to what it is that God said he will do. It's a promise
Yes.
in
Yes.
everything. So let's just continue to hold on to the promise and we'll see the
Yes.
glory of the Lord. Have a good
Amen.
evening. Thank you. Good
Thank
night.
you.
Don't leave me.